Okay, so I'm Grasswalker. Hello and welcome back to the second game of the Edge AI versus Valve default unfair bots. We've switched the sides to keep it nice and fair. Dire side will now have Valve default unfair bots, and Radiant side will now host Edge AI, who are 1-0 up in this best of 3 series. If Edge AI commits another brutal stomp, they will find themselves further in the lower bracket elimination round, and Valve default and Fairbolts will find themselves eliminated and no longer eligible for the $100 billion prize pool.
Omni Knight.
Unfortunately, it looks like it might be a rough one. Valve default and Fairbots have now lost 3 games in a row. Their last 3 games they have struggled with. Whether or not they can keep going, we're not quite sure about. Let's have a look at the picks. We have our first Outworld Destroyer of the tournament. No, I think we've seen an OD. It's the first Weaver of the tournament, I can tell you that much. It's the second Omni Knight of the tournament. On the other side of things, we have some very standard picks. Sven was previously an undefeated hero with no losses, but did pick up a loss in one of the upper bracket games earlier today. This is the first Weaver of the tournament, Edge AI picking out something spicy. There's no way this is the first Outworld Devourer. I feel like an Outworld Obsidian Destroyer. It's like 1,500 different names. There's no way this is the first OD. I'm pretty sure I've cast an OD because I saw some interesting prisons and I kept asking for the ult to be used. One of my favourite heroes, OD, but I don't play him as a mid, I play him as a 4 because I'm a little rat. Edge AI, we've got Weaver for the first time this tournament, picked up in a 1 position. They almost find Armoured Bounty Hunter. This sweeping rotation they make, looking for heroes near the small camp. They do it every game, and then they settle themselves down on where the bounty rune used to be, but no longer is. Edge AI showing a little bit of datedness, a little bit of confusion. Whether or not they could be updated to have different bounty rune spots, perhaps that could occur. Perhaps that could be something to improve them with. You are the dev script writer, please make your bots better as much as you can. OD finds himself squeezed between 2 heroes. They're both going to start right-clicking him. But it's an OD. He's as fast as if he had boots. Actually, no, they've changed that, it looks like. Only 320 move speed on him. Maybe Kunker's just really fast. An unusual, but also somewhat classic OD versus Necro mid. Edge AI's OD immediately off to a better start. Last time we saw the Valve bots, they dumpstered middle lane.
What ails you?
Played with a Bane and they absolutely crushed. This time it seems, at the very least, from the first wave, a lot closer. Got 2 and 2 to 1 and 1. 2 and 3 to 1 and 1 now. OD pulling ahead. If you're ever playing in a best of 3 and you get dumpstered in your lane, pick a lane dominator in the next game and hope for the best. OD seems to be working out for this team here. The Weaver AA lane, I think it's okay, but I'm not extremely pleased about it. I always feel like Weaver pairs better with support that can man up and tank on the front line, something like an Ogre Magi. AA is sorry, he's kind of like a little rat. He likes hiding behind you and throwing his little chilling touch, but that's all well and good if you're something big like a Chaos Knight. Even then, it's not really happy about tanking everything. But Weaver really doesn't want to be the center of attention. Chasing a little bit onto the Kunker. We'll buy some attention to top lane where we have Omni Lich against Sven Bounty. Your Omni Knight has 6 CS, Sven has nothing. Last game, oh no! Not like this again. I missed the first one, I'm very sorry. Last game we saw Edge AI's safe laner do really, really well for himself, and he seems to be off to a good start. 8 CS on the Weaver. The offlaner last time we saw get off to a really, really good start when he was playing Undying. He's off to an okay start with 6 CS, but it's not the same level of dominance and lane crushing that we saw just yet. But we're only 2 minutes in. On the flip side, however, last game there was a Bane that annihilated the middle lane. Edge AI gets stuck here-ish. I'm not sure why this happens to Edge AI every time. He's not CSing, he's not farming, he's just salved up, dying here. Always here. And when he gets low enough, he backs off, but he'll soon go back there and get himself bricked again, and so he does. At the very least, he's doing better in the lane than he was last time. 0 CS at 5 minutes he had on his Kunkka. This time, he's playing OD, he's got 13 CS, 3 minutes. He's having a decent time, at least. We've got a rotation of Sven. I do not agree with this whatsoever. If you are the safe lane Sven, you do not leave your lane for at least 7 or 8 minutes. Bounty's not going to get anything by himself up here anyway. I mean, maybe the Sven is just exhausted because the Omni has 11 denies, but where he's just gone, he's not even getting XP. It's looking really rough for Valve default and fair bots. If you were coming in as a fan of Valve and their default bots, you're watching this, you might just have to be proud of where they came, which is looking to be something like 6th place. Actually, I don't think it's 6th place, I think it'd be 5th. I think we have 4 teams. No, we still have 6 teams in the tournament, my apologies. Bit of quick math at the back of my mind. Got a weird run around up here that baited me into thinking it'd be a fight, but in fact it was the Razor who died. Stun onto the Lich. Now we've got some good aggression coming on, but that's a huge amount of damage. Sven has to run immediately. All he has is boots. Omni doesn't have boots, but he's a little bit faster than him when the Lich's Frost Blast was there. Hammer Purity has him slowed. Now it's Bounty stealing money. They will steal his life in return. The Invis. Oh, Armored. Cheeky escape. All 3 of Edge AI's Radiant Heroes are topping the CS charts. They're winning all 3 lanes. Last game they only won 2 lanes. But last game they dumpstered 2 lanes and lost mid. This game they're just winning 3 lanes. There's no dumpstering occurring, not yet anyway. Yes, we have 6 teams left in the tournament. Edge AI, Valve default unfair bots, and then 4 other teams. We've got a beginner AI, as well as the team they just placed off against. Then we also have Furious Puppy. Who else is still around? So many teams, so little space for my brain to remember things. Got Sirius, Edge, Valve, Puppy, Beginner AI. That's 5. Ranked matchmaking. They're the wild card. They've been fighting their way through the lower bracket for a long time. OD might find himself either dead or 2 kills. Dead. Whenever 2 heroes start diving a tower, I mean, look at just how much damage this Necro's taken from the tower. Whenever you find yourself in one of those really weird dives, there's just as much chance that if you play it well, you'll get a double kill as you just die under the tower and they get out. AA dies, Razor steals all his damage, maybe. That's the OD kill. Maybe the AA was just already low. I feel like I've only caught maybe one of the 4 kills this game. I am really sorry. Sometimes it's easy to know where the violence is about to happen, and sometimes shit like this is just happening. And it's hard to know if the Lich will die here or not, but I don't really want to watch him. Sven could run and stun him at any second. There's the stun. Cancels the salve. He really gonna get out here? Oh wow, the tomato bonks, and that sends Sven to base. Oh, unfortunately the Lich does die.
Your flesh spoiled.
So over the course of the next 4 games, we will eliminate 4 teams from this tournament. OD eliminated from this game, at least for now, for the next 26 seconds. Default Unfair bots showing a bit of violence in their spirits, willing to attack and dive. Bounty perhaps diving too far. They can see you under the tier 1 tower, my friend. The invis does not help you. And one more click, the Weaver will clean him up. I'm going to guess the laning stage is coming to an end. We're going to switch to some net worths. I am very surprised to see 2 dire heroes at the top of that. If you switch to last hits, the dire heroes are nowhere near the top. Necro, only 9. Razor at least with 14. Your Necro is at the top of the net worth. His 3 kills are adding up for him. Who needs to farm creeps when you can farm heroes? That was the worst sanity splits I've ever seen. Clearly not a hero. Now it's going to be awkward for the fight because you don't have the sanity eclipse. Weaver trying to get some right clicks out. Everyone's just sort of right clicking each other. AA shoots his ult onto the other side of the planet. That's just going to keep going. That could be really awkward for Edge AI because they're not using the AA ult. They are using the AA right clicks. It's a huge amount of damage. Razor cleans up the Lich. AA cleans up the Sven. Sorry, it was the Weaver managed to get that last hit on the kill. Razor stealing 64 damage. Bounty wants to man up. He wants to go deeper. He has a Shuriken Tosh that could bounce to everybody. If he just clicked it. Boat onto nobody. Bounty unwilling to use Trap or Shuriken. It's not what you want. He's DD'd up now. 3 dire heroes in the top 4. They have a huge advantage somehow. It's really hard to understand where their huge advantage is coming from. Because they're behind on farm everywhere. I mean, your 1 position Sven has 0 last hits. Where's their money coming from? They don't have any towers. The kills are equal, 5 to 6. Is it the track gold? I'm gonna guess it's the track gold then. He's only been 6 for a little bit, because even right now he's only 6.5. I mean, it's just hard to gauge where that 1,000 gold is coming from. Dust on the Lich, but he's not invisible. He's just got a null talisman. I'd love to see a glyph here so that the catapult keeps killing the tower during this team fight. The Lich ult's bouncing everywhere. Lich with a double kill. Oh, the Lich ult's bounced one more time.
Dire's structures are fortified.
Dire is the first to glyph. Bounty in amongst the team, but immediately right click. That's like 600 damage instantly. They dust him. Tier 1 falls.
Dire's middle tower
Edge AI
has
takes a
fallen.
decent fight and a tower. That puts Weaver well ahead as number 1 on the net worth. The first Weaver we've seen this entire tournament. They still have a siege creep if they want to get really cheeky. Right click. The Sanity's Eclipse double kill for the OD. Sven's like, wait a minute, I'm only level 3. Oh, on to 4. Had the cleave available for a lot of damage as well. Necro though cleans up the creeps, not letting Kunkka get a cleave off. A little bit awkward. Bit of damage onto the Lich. Out comes the ult on the OD, but he lives. AA ult is thrown out now, so we do have Frostbite onto the Necro. He's not going to be healing. Clicks his heal, but he's not healing. And he dies. Now we're seeing Radiant. 3 of the top 4. As they get far and far ahead on kills. Sven runs in, but he's level 3. Bounty getting right click. We've got 2 tracks on offer. Track, one of the worst things you could play against as a Weaver. AA will be stunned up. Falls. Where's the counter kill? We get Sven, but I'm not sure that matters. He's only level 3. Bunker next to 4, perhaps. If they can find him, they found him. 2 more kills. Bounty snipes the courier. That's cheeky. Weaver's like, I need to leave. Potentially a Maelstrom for him. Ooh, Medallion of Courage. Half of a mech for the Necro. The Necromancer will be here in the next 5 minutes. Ooh, the Lich ult. It's gonna bounce around. And here it comes. Double kill. And again, the cleave. Sven's only level 4. I don't think anyone cares about him, and he's gonna die. Razor stealing damage. He might be able to take the Omni out before he dies, but he doesn't, and it's a 4-man wipe. AJI just seems to have Valve default and Fairbot's number. I mean, you would always imagine that a bot script is better than the default bots, because you take the default bots and you improve them. However, given that Valve default and Fairbots have come effectively 6th, assuming they're going to lose this game and it's looking quite rough, there could be a comeback, but I'm just going to talk in the hypothetical. If Valve default and Fairbots lose this game, they come 6th in a tournament of 16 teams, which is interesting because you would imagine that any bot script is better than the default script. However, that's clearly not the case. The bog standard default script is the 6th best bot on the market as of this second. Bounty running in. He wants to prove that they're better than the 6th best. Potentially 5th, potentially 4th. But unfortunately Sven proves that they are just the 6th best. Immediate death for him. Dunker with a counterplay. Kills off the AA. OD's here. He's got the Eclipse. I'd love to see him just use it. You may as well. If you're gonna die, just click it and see what happens. Instead, he tanks the Necro ult, and now it's a double kill. Here's the Lich ult, though. Bouncing around the creeps, unfortunately. It does make its way to some heroes. This is where, if your OD had clicked his ult, these heroes wouldn't all be full. Maybe that Lich ult takes people out if the OD ulted. You always have to play every fight, not just as if you're about to die, but as if your team is about to come in and help. Lich will pick off this Razor. Maybe not. He's fast. 400 move speed to 300. It's a good fight. The Valve default and Fairbots. All my talk about how they don't deserve to ascend past this best of 3. As they make a comeback and the game is now in their favour by 1,000 gold. Necro Bounty taking over as the top 2 heroes. I'm not rooting against Valve default and Fairbots or anything. I'm just talking, given how brutally the stomp was in the first game, I expect them to lose this one as well, but you never know. We could be in for a 3rd game of this best of 3. At the very least, this one is a lot closer. I'm glad that we didn't just do a best of 1, because people might have left with the wrong impression the unfair bots are garbage, when in fact they're holding their own. In comes the boat, cracks onto 3. Omni Knight's trying to man up, but he's not a core Omni Knight like we saw in the other games. Out comes the Guardian Angel. Sven's dead, but it doesn't matter, he's only level 6. 5. He's not even level 6. The Sven has no game. And it brings me back to thinking, like, why did the Sven EP to the tier 1 and run, like, in this path? He almost ran like this. Then he stayed here, got stuck here a little bit, and then... It was like 9 minutes in and he was level 3. He just cost himself playing the game. He might have a comeback, you never know, but... 18 minutes in and he's level 5. Let me just look at the levels. He's
Dire's structures are
so far behind. Weaver is the lowest level and he's 8.5. And then you've got Sven who's 5.5. It's a huge amount of experience. He just needs to come mid here.
Has fallen.
Just run here and start taking this XP. Ben, come here. Come on, follow me. Come on. I'll lead you there. Look, just come here. Kill this. The bounty rune is nice, but it's not going to help you have a game. Here too, it's tough. 16 armor, woof. Sven though, he's like just here. You're not doing anything there, Sven, my friend. He's running bottom, but that's like a line you take if you're level 15, not if you're level 5. In he comes. Stun on 4! Sven, he made a play! Oh my lord! Oh, I take it all back. Sven, he's level 6.5 now. He's going to be 7 when the Omni dies. Sven has redeemed himself fully in my eyes. That was a cheeky little 4-man Storm's Hammer. Is it called Storm Hammer? Yeah! Wow. And now we've got Valve Default and Fairbots 3k gold ahead. I can barely speak, I'm so excited. Top 3 here is all Dire. Uncut a little bit in an awkward spot here. He looks like he's definitely dead. Sanity's Eclipse used to kill secure. 3k gold lead persists. They have taken no towers. So it's not just a 2 to 3k gold lead. It is the additional 500 to 600 gold that each tower is worth. Radiant Heroes, Edge AI, they love their aggressive pushes. Perhaps if Default and Fairbots get it to a game 3, they could think about picking some heroes that aggressively punish pushing. Sniper, Kotl, Tinker. Someone who's like, you want to push? Good luck with that.
Dire's bottom tower has fallen.
Meanwhile, all of Dire is hanging out top. They might be looking for their first tier 1 of the game. It is at half. Could be easy pickings. Sven's farming up as best he can. He's almost got himself an Echo Saber. Between the ult and the Echo Saber, he's got a bit of burst. But are they losing racks? Not really. A bit of chip damage on the tower. Looks like they might get it to half. 1250 before they back off. Missing uphill a lot. They should just stand on the high ground. They're tanking the tower anyway. Ooh, a catapult creep turns up. That changes things. Uncut. I would love to see him just cleave the wave, please. Just cleave the wave. Out comes the boat. Boat onto 4 heroes. It's huge.
Coin for me.
It's been enough though. Torrent onto 2 as well. Sven's here. He's ulted. Got moral support for the team. Stormhammer onto 2. Another great section of stuns for the Sven. I would not recommend picking Sven 5 in your pubs, but this guy, whatever his name is, these symbols, however you pronounce those symbols, looks like a little tent and a strange Q. Tent Q. That's what I'll call him. Tent Q on his Sven. Pulling out the stops. You would think if you're going to play support Sven, you would at least max the Stormhammer and the Warcry, not go 4 cleave. But even with the tiniest stun in the world, he's made some huge plays this game. Another great fight for the Valve Default and Fairbots, and Don't get me wrong, the comeback is over. They are now winning. They have already come back. Weaver? Who forced him in? Ooh, the Lich ultimate. Here it goes. It's bouncing around the creeps. It's not hitting any heroes. Out comes the hammer from the OD. But they're just manning up. 2 dead on both sides. Now it's getting a bit awkward for the Dire side. Bounty, is he gonna live? This thing's chasing him. Something's chasing him. Is it an Omni Knight proc or something? I think he's going to get to the base and heal up a lot just before that hits him. Oh, it's a heal! It's Necrophos's heal! I see. So he was never in any danger. I apologise for misleading you viewers. Just as I was talking about the comeback is over and that they are actively winning, they lose a 4-for-1 fight and a 2k gold swing against them. Default unfair bots, the moment I began bigging you up because I talked shit about them all game long. The moment I declare that they are objectively winning, they lose a fight 4-for-1. Now we can see Edge AI pushing bottom. If they're going to do this, I would like to see OD build a Meteor Hammer or something. Although, OD is gone for the Dragonlance build, it seems. We know that that doesn't work. Thankfully, he's still building items, though. Fluffy Hat, after the Dragonlance. Sven, playing a bit of bait. Grabs an Arcane Rune.
To good use.
Bounty Hunter's huge this game. Where is he? Oh my lord, Deso. Deso and more as well. The Echo Saber on the Sven, we saw that coming. Got an Axe on the Necro almost. Sorry, a fight's breaking out. We'll stop looking at items. Drums on both sides. Weaver, though, almost one-shot. But out. The bounty comes from the prison and he gets right-clicked down by 5 heroes. Immediately dead. Probably would have been worth it if he did one-shot the Weaver, but he didn't. So it's a little bit awkward. Edge AI's 5 heroes. I mean, at 25 minutes last game, they were throning. 25 minutes this game, they're looking like it's a bit of a chore to get a couple of tier 2s. Definitely a much closer game this time. Weaver TP's bottom. He needs survival item. Looks like he too wants a Dragonlance. Hopefully it doesn't brick him. Because if Odie and Weaver both brick, that could end very poorly for them. Meanwhile, 2 heroes getting chased in the middle lane. Necro ult, not even close. Out comes the Omni ult, and now everybody's alive. Couple of right clicks on the Sven. Out goes the Hammer. He's dead. Conker's low, he's dead too. That's 2 down for Dire so far, but now it's the Razor cleaning up under the storm. Oh, the Lich, he ults! It's bouncing between creeps and heroes. It's killing off this Razor. It's too many creeps, though. All of these Lich ults feel like they lose at least 7 bounces on creeps. Now the bounty wants to clean up the Lich. He could throw the Shuriken Toss. That would have been a kill, I think. 200 damage? No, the Lich was at about 300. The Lich is really tanky, deceptively so. Point booster, the Ogre Axe. You don't expect a Lich to have 1500 health. At least I don't. Razor looking like he wants Sanjin Yasha. Maybe a Manta, probably Sanjin Yasha. Tier 1 tower, probably falling in favour of the Dire. Siege Creep will clean it up by itself if it has to. One more. There it is. Oh, the deny, just in time.
Has been denied.
Yay. Grabs the bounty. Zeus ult and he dies. No Zeus in this game though.
The time.
Razor gets spotted out.
Dire's
Moment of
top tower
quiet.
has fallen.
Oh, tower dies to a catapult whilst 2 heroes are there to save it. Omni's watching Sven farm. Now Sven ults. Weaver's here too. Stun and run is the plan for Sven, but there's no tower here. He's got a long way to run. Weaver best not dive too far. Ben might be 2 levels lower than you, but he still hits hard during his ult. Man will hit for 270, whereas Weaver only hits for 150. Tower is falling though. This looks dead to me. Catapult will clean it up.
Dire's bottom tower
Now the fight's a little bit easier. No tower, no armor aura, no regen aura. No guaranteed vision. Weaver uses the escape, but puts himself back in the base. Time-lapsing there was not the right choice. Omni Knight also going to struggle to get out. And the tower has fallen, and you've traded 2 heroes for it. They were both track kills. I don't know if that was worth it. Meanwhile, Lich getting voted up. Lich ult's bouncing, but there's a lot of creeps here. And the creeps kind of take the most of it again. AA ult conking onto the Necro. Everyone will just run away. Nice and calmly. 2k gold in the favour of the Dire again. This bounty gets fatter and fatter. What are you gonna get? Another Echo Saber?
Radiant
You hope
structures
not.
are fortified.
Mage Slayer seems reasonable, but... yeah, I mean, the biggest problem the bounty has, in my opinion, is the OD. AA should die. Pops a dust for no reason. He's dead. Valve default unfair bots putting in a challenge saying we want game 3. Razor pops his ult, starts killing off this poor innocent Weaver. The hammer gets dropped, but nobody's dead yet. Lots of damage, but no deaths. Out comes the Necro, first kill. Double kill for the Omni Knight. Clean up a couple of creeps.
Radiant's
Well, the
bottom
bounty
tower
goes in,
has fallen.
tries to snipe someone, but doesn't really do very much damage. He is on the OD, finishes him off. Omni's really fat. They're taking all his damage, minus 170. Good lord, this Razor, he hits for 300. Get him out of here. Time lapse, he's running in the wrong direction. Oh, thankfully the time lapse took off the track. Oh no, Lich is visible. Instantly dead, and Sven's on a comeback. He's got Blink now. HAI struggling this game. Get the AA ult onto 2, but what does it matter if you've got no follow-up? The AA just feeds himself. And it's yet another track kill. Valve default and Fairbot's looking for one of their first official pushes of the game. It's going to do less push than this push here though, with just a creep. As well as this push here with just creeps. This one did 400 damage. This one so far has done 700 and will continue to do damage. I don't think this tower will die. Good god, is this how zoomed in the game normally is? Surely not.
Radiant's
I don't know
top
if I'll be able
tower
to play a
has been
game of
denied.
Dota again if this is all you can see on the map. I think it actually might be how normally zoomed in the game is as well. Ooh, Weaver falls again! HAI just not making the plays that they need to. About half health on this tower. 60 more than half. Sven looking to start building up a BKB probably. Sanjin Yasha Hurricane Pike finished on 2. Razor Sven, blink, ult, he's in, they're bursting the Omni, they hit really hard, but they hit back just as hard. The OD's 1,000,000 damage. It's a triple kill for the OD. Never mind, it's all on the Lich. It's the first Lich ult that hit heroes, and I wasn't there to see it.
Regeneration.
JI taking a great fight on the outside of the base. Force staffing the Kunkka in a little bit too deep. Trying to figure out who to kill. They prison one and chase the other. Necro comes out of the prison. Are they finishing him off? And they do. That's a 4-man wipe so far. Kunkka could be next. Prison's up. Now they've just got to wait for him to come back out. There he is. He's dead. It's a 5-man wipe. HAI.
Dire's
With
middle
the
tower
counter
has fallen.
comeback, they were ahead, then they were behind, and now they're trying to get ahead again. On the XP at very least, they are ahead, but the gold's still 4k behind. They will be able to get a bit of a push going here. Shame, because Botrax available as mid is at full health. If Sven goes that deep though, he might just die. And then, looking to be in trouble, he's dead, but so's the OD. The fight under the tower benefits the Dire usually. 2 for 2 so far. Razor thinking about still chasing. He definitely should still chase. I mean, just click these phase boots and run at them. What are they going to do to stop you? Your Razor. Don't stay in the cold feet for too long though. Gets frozen. Does get the AA kill though.
Maze with you.
Tiny amount of damage on the mid tower. I feel like this 500 damage would have been better served doing 500 damage. I mean, between the armor, maybe they could have took the ranged racks. Just get the creeps in, run down here, get the ranged racks. Now it's the default on Fairbots on the counterplay. AI's Omni desperately pushing out top. One of the only heroes on the Radiant side having a good game. Your one position Weaver, bottom 3 heroes. Out comes the boat. Cracks onto the Weaver. He has time lapse. He manages to get it off. He's still full health. That just might be the change between the Lich ult and no creeps. It's a double kill for the OD. Razor picks someone off on the back line. 2 for 2. Oh, Lich grabs the Razor. It's 1,000 gold for Lich. Puts him as the highest net worth on the Radiant side. My jaw really hurts. Too much casting. Broken my jaw. Ancient Apparition. Standing mid. I mean, he's doing the classic Edge AI, getting stuck in this little box here. I wonder what he's hoping for. Weaver comes to bail him out, but he's still here. Little area here, this little lip of the stairs.
Arms for the
Causes
dead.
all sorts of problems to the Radiant side. Necro sneakily dodges that AA ult. And wants to push top. All sides struggling to push. Tier 2's still up across the board for Radiant. Tier 3 has fallen top. Somewhere along the lines the ranged racks got put quite low. Bounty dies and buys back. With double siege creeps. Could be a good situation. Sven though, he gets a 4-man stun! Here come the cleaves, the Lich ult's out though, and the Lich ult, it takes them all out! Lich carrying his team. He puts them on his back and he bails them out there. Push mid eventually will devolve into nothing though. Another 400-500 damage on this tier 3. Nothing to shout home about. They do pull in this Necro. Necro wanting to turn around and just scythe the Lich, I think. 700 health.
No malingering.
Out comes the boat, but the Kunkka is in an awkward spot. He's against heroes that's 6 levels above him. He's supposed to be this badass mid Kunkka, but the lowest net worth hero in the whole game. Oh, it was the Necro mid, my apologies. Where the hell did the Kunkka lay? It was Sven and Bounty? Pop? It was Kunkka Razor in the off lane. Ben has bought a gem, but he's not willing to bring it out. He's too worried about what the effect of that will be. Gently bonks the creep wave so that his cleave puts it lower so that it will push itself out. He's not willing to... Okay, now he's willing to push it out. Flag bearing creep. Healing all the other creeps by 3 per second. Like half a tango. Here we go, big fight top, boat onto 4 heroes. Oh, the slam of the OD onto 5, but it doesn't matter, he didn't have enough mana difference between them. Here comes the Lich ult, it's bouncing around, it's doing a good job this time. AA ult is on the Necro, a bit more damage, it's going to be a 5-man wipe. Triple kill for the Omni. Edge AI, the huge fight. And that should be a Rax, maybe 2? They're all dead for 30 to 70 seconds. The graph's huge swings into their favour. Unfortunately, they're pushing top, which is still at full, compared to bot, which is gone, and mid, which is half. They are, if they just stand on the high ground, they do a better job hitting the tower. But, I mean, no one is even close to being up yet. Still 10 seconds.
Dire's top
Tower
tower has
falls.
fallen.
Now time to clear up the first racks of the game. Sven and Kunkka have just respawned. It'll take them 5 seconds to get in position to do anything. Melee rack's dead. Ranged racks, it's on its way.
Has fallen.
The first rack's in favour of
Dire's
Edge
top
AI. A
barracks
much
has
closer
fallen.
game this time, but Edge AI are now definitely the favourites to win this one.
I was meant to have
Huge
this.
wave bottom, a huge wave mid that they will need to come back and clear up. How does Kunkka... How is he out there? Did they force him out? He shouldn't be out there. Looks as though the waves have handled themselves. Tower has cleared out this one. Just the spawning of creeps has handled
Radiant's
this one.
courier has been killed.
I'm always curious with lane dynamics of the creeps. Looks to me that these siege creeps will tank these siege creeps, and the creeps plus the tower will clear this out, and eventually this will fix itself. It's interesting how stuff like that happens, because sometimes you get like these big siege creep waves and they just start taking out the towers. It's just that little bit of extra distance that they didn't have.
Invisibility.
The fight is warming up in the river as the default unfair bots want to take Roche. But they realise Roche is too strong for them. The amount of time that they've just wasted has allowed Edge AI to make a huge push mid. Got 4 Dire Heroes walking around the Roche pit, but they're not doing anything that matters. They're going back into the Roche pit. Now they're committing to taking the Roche, but it's going to be a slow one. They're going to lose mid-racks if they commit to this, and they have to leave the pit again. It's just an abomination of a decision-making process for the Valve default bots.
Dire's middle tower has fallen.
That means no more base towers. You've got a nice little backstab from the Razor. Doesn't have his BKB yet, so he might get bursted out. The Lich ult, it's bouncing. Only heroes! Only heroes! Double kill for the Lich. 3 heroes down already. Out comes the blast. It's 4 dead and it's game over. Edge AI, with these heroes dead for 70
Dire's middle
seconds,
barracks has fallen.
should just end
Dire's
this
middle
game. I
barracks
mean,
has fallen.
they can do it in whatever method or way they want. Necro now also caught out. Dead 2 for 70 seconds. They've got double siege creeps, they've got a huge wave. They have a huge wave of super creeps coming in top. No one is going to be alive for 15-20 seconds. Super creeps will take their time getting through the buildings, which is a nice little saving grace for the dire side, really. That might just mean siege creeps. No, they're going to come in and start tanking it. Sven's up, Kunker's up, but is it enough? They're facing the fountain and they're not leaving.
Dire's middle tower.
I think Valve, Default, and the Fairbots, similar to the first game, has realised we can't quite defend that and will gracefully DG out of this game. They showed a much better footing in this game than they did the first. The result was the same. I'm glad we didn't leave these as best of ones. It's going to cost me an extra hour of my life, maybe 3, to have recorded it, planned it, do the editing, upload it, render it, blah blah blah, tag it, put it in all the stuff. It's going to cost me some time, but I'm glad we did it. Because this shows that Valve Default and Fairbots is not just dumpster fucked by Edge AI completely. They can have close games, and yeah, they're the worst team, but they're not that much worse. MVPs, it's gotta go. I mean, the Lich did so much this game. I'm giving it to the Lich, and on the other side, I kind of want to give it to the Sven, because he had no game, but he gave Default and Fairbots the comeback. So I'm going to give it to Sven. The main thing I'm thinking of was under the Dire Tier 2, there was that fight where he got a 4-man Storm's Hammer, and it massacred the whole thing. Another fight he got, I believe it was bot near the secret shop, he got a 3 or 4-man Storm's Hammer. Then there was a fight mid with a 2-man Storm Hammer, allowing a clean couple of pickoffs. Sven spoon-fed his team 10 to 15 kills in a very crucial period of time, where if they didn't get 5 to 10 kills, they would have been stomped. Scoreboard-wise, we have some spicy item builds. We've got OD stuck on the Dragon Lance, unfortunately. Aidless on a Kunker, didn't make any use of that, never felt that item's impact. No neutral items for any heroes. Did a bit of wards from the Radiant side, bit of dust from the Dire side, gem from the Sven gem. Story of the game is that the laning stage was quite even, potentially a little bit Valve Default and Fairbots favoured, because it's a little bit more on this side. Coming to the end of the laning stage, had that like 1k lead, it wasn't too much. AJI got the comeback, then, I mean, it didn't feel like Valve Default was taking over this game, but they just slowly started, bit by piece, take over this game, and all of a sudden they're like 8 to 9, 10k gold ahead, and then unfortunately they just start taking a couple of bad fights, get some fortunate pickoffs, some big 4-man wipes when you really can't afford to have them, and Edge AI was more willing to aggressively push, trade their lives for buildings. They took the first racks, they took the second racks, they went for the throne. Valve Default and Fairbots never took a tier 2 this game, and it showed that they weren't willing to group up and push. If you're not willing to group up and push, you will eventually lose the game. Default and Fairbots, I mean, right here, about 20 minutes, they have the top 3 heroes. It's super spicy. Then, I mean, it never feels like Radiant took over. Just at the end, they just kind of got there. A lot of the net worth was on the Bounty, who struggled this game from the amount of CC. Kept getting put in prisons, kept getting the Lich little call of the eyes, or whatever it's called. But I feel like this is a pretty good game, and I'm glad that we went for it. Thank you for joining me, and we now know that Valve Default and Fairbots will and has been eliminated from the Dota 2 Bot Masters. Thank you for joining me, and I'll see you when the next team goes. Bye.